rise and unite, fueling the passion, igniting the light. Through highs and lows, we'll stand as one. A legacy, a tale that's just begun. Together we roar, together we roar. Detroit Lions will rise, with a heart full of dreams and the fire in our eyes. From the past to the future, we'll claim our own. In the home of the brave, we'll proudly have grown. So let's lift our voices, let's turn it up loud. For the love of the Lions, we'll always be proud.
All right. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the late edition of the Rise and Grind Morning Show. Appreciate you guys sticking around. We got first snow problems over here in Gun Lake. So welcome in. Appreciate you guys again. And as always, if you guys could do us just a few things to get this show rolling. Number one, if you have not made Rock Down Detroit Lions and Rise and Grind Morning Show part of your daily habit, please do by subscribing to the channel and liking the stream this morning. That would be very helpful. And number two, we're really wanting to get to 10K this year. That's our goal. So subscribing is big. But number three, look, just be kind and courteous to people in this world. That's all we need from everybody, right? And welcome in Eric this morning too. Eric, how you doing, buddy?
I am absolutely fantastic today. My Detroit Lions are 11-1.
Yeah, barely. Heart attack cats on display yesterday. Did I not warn everybody? This was going to be a tough game.
Let me have it.
Well, I tried to warn everybody, but you don't want to listen.
Listen, I took my wife to her first ever cardiac cats game. All right. She had never been to a game where the Lions had some struggles. All right. And my wife doesn't know the first thing about football. And when Vildor got that pass interference penalty in the fourth quarter, even she looked up at me and was like, what the F was that? She's like, that's not a penalty. The guy didn't even touch him. And it was her first heart attack game. Okay. Well, I've had so many heart attacks with these cats. It didn't even faze me. I knew we were going to win. We had the lead from the very beginning. We never gave it up. I had nothing but confidence in my Lions. I knew we were going to win. Bears kind of made it close. I don't care. We won the game. We had a billion injuries. We still made it. They had a million major injuries. They still made it too. But you know what? We came out ahead at the end, and that's all that matters.
Well, I will say this. Eberflus completely blew this game.
Yes, he did.
He absolutely blew this game. So I think that's where I want to start this morning. Is the Detroit Lions Eberflushed the Bears? I have a feeling that Eberflus is going to be canned at any moment, probably by next week, maybe today. I don't know. I haven't heard anything yet, but I guess what I'm saying is I think that his job is all but done. And I thought about this yesterday during the show. I was like, did Caleb Williams completely blow those 32 seconds on purpose? I have never in a million years have I ever seen anything like that. Mismanagement, game mismanagement. I mean, we've seen coaches make mistakes, right? The last few minutes of a game, maybe you should have taken a timeout earlier, but 32 seconds, you could have gotten off 4 plays. Even with one timeout, you could have gotten off 4 plays in 32 seconds, and they got off 1 and ended the game. I had a little, I guess I had a little chuckle after the game, but during the game, at the end of the game, I was like torn for words. I had nothing. I couldn't believe we just won. I couldn't believe that the game just didn't get tied up. And I'm looking at the screen. I'm like, what just is that real? What just happened? It was the weirdest thing ever. I've never witnessed such a collapse from a team that clearly had us on the ropes. I mean, Caleb Williams threw for like 250 some odd yards in the second half, 3 touchdowns in the second half, and clearly our Lions were in trouble. We couldn't stop anybody. We couldn't move the football. and we barely hung on to this game. Jake Bates misses his first field goal of the year. And, all the signs are pointing to we were about to collapse here on Thanksgiving, and it didn't happen. So I don't know. Did Caleb Williams do it on purpose, or is Eberflus just that bad of a coach? Or does Caleb Williams not understand 30-second offense and what you're supposed to do? I don't know. I'll take the win.
It's both. And you know what? A win is a win is a win. I am not going to apologize for a win because we had Marty Morningweg, we had Steve Mariucci, we had Jim Schwartz, we had all these diabolical collapses like this with 30 seconds left that the Lions never won. The Seahawks hit the ball out of the back of the end zone. There's pass interference that gets picked up against Dallas. There's all these plays. We've always found a way to lose. Well, you know what? These Lions don't. They find a way to win. And I'm not going to apologize after 30-something plus years of putting up with us always losing these games. Well, we're finally on the other side of it. We won, and I'm happy, and I had confidence the entire game. I never for 1 second in that entire game felt like we were going to lose that game.
Yeah, I was a little twisted on the live show, man. I really thought that it was going to come down to us going to overtime, and then I felt more confident if we won the coin toss, right? That's where I have my confidence. But the way that game was going, and the fact that we lost Josh Pascal, Levi Onwuzurike, Rodrigo, who else got injured? There's another player that got injured in that game yesterday.
Oh, there's a bunch, dude. Levi O. Rodrigo.
Yeah. Who's the other one?
Zadarius Smith came in and out of the game a bunch of times.
No, I'm saying who's injured, who's out. Those are three. There was one more. There was one more.
I'd have to look it up.
It was Levi O with a hamstring. It was Josh Pascal with a knee. Rodrigo, I don't even know what the heck happened to him.
Yeah.
And his is the worst one. So anyway, I guess what I'm saying is in a game when you suffer this many injuries on a defensive line that is already in trouble, like they're as thin as they can possibly be. The linebacker room is as thin as they can possibly be, and you get hit on both sides. Not good. I'm expecting clearly that Brad Holmes is going to be doing anything that he can do right now with looking at practice squads. But anyway, and we'll come back to injuries in a few moments. Big shout out to everybody in the chat this morning. Another big shout out to Trace this morning. She gifted 100 plus memberships over the last week. So I really I got to say thank you again to her. She's been absolutely incredible in supporting the channel and giving people an opportunity to become members of the channel as well. So thank you. Let's see here. Back in the chat here, someone said that they weren't worried about. We're not worried about Jake Bates missing the field goal. I wasn't worried either. No. It's just more it was like the storyline, right? It was building. It's like Jake misses his first. All these players are going out. Caleb is on fire. What's about to happen? It's 32 seconds. They're driving. I mean, they legit had an opportunity to drive to the end zone and put the game out. They legit had an opportunity to do that. What the hell happened? Like, I don't know. I didn't even watch Eberflus after the game.
I did.
I'm gonna pull that in here. I didn't listen to it.
I'm going to tell you why I think this game was close. Had nothing to do with Jake Bates missing a field goal.
Well, no, of course not. But that's the point. Is it was the storyline, right?
Oh yeah, but the biggest reason this game was even close was before halftime, Jahmyr Gibbs fumbles the ball on the 3-yard line. That is the reason this game was close. Otherwise, we score again right there before half. We put them away. There's no way they can even get close. It would have been 23 to nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely didn't help. I'm not going to blame.
We would have been up by 4 scores.
I'm not going to blame Jahmyr for his extremely infrequent fumbling. I mean, it's like his second fumble in the last 12 games, 13 games. I mean, it's not terrible.
Yeah.
But I hear what you're saying. Like, we had an opportunity to add another 7 points to the board right there, which everybody thought we were about to, and then we didn't. So I don't know that the Bears came back and scored off of that fumble though.
No, but that play turned the game around. It literally
gave the Bears an opportunity. Turnovers are real in this game. We didn't get any.
Yes, we didn't. We got a bunch of sacks, 5 sacks, but listen, that Caleb Williams, I'm gonna say this right now. That is one tough SOB, and he is slippery. We could not get our hands on him. He kept avoiding sacks over and over and over. It was crazy. And everyone was trying to keep their lanes. They must have told them, don't let this kid get outside of you. We don't care about sacks. Just keep him contained. Keep him in the pocket.
Yeah, and yesterday, a game that we didn't have a bunch of sacks early or even towards the end of the game. Like, I don't know, for the first 3 quarters, I think we had 1 sack. Maybe 3.5 quarters we had once. The last few minutes of the game, they were able to get after Caleb, and we ended up with 5 sacks on the day. So that was good to see. With everybody out, with everything that we were dealing with.
And everybody's dealing with injuries. Every team is. Now, every team is probably not dealing with 9 or 10 starters out on defense like we are. But you know what? We're making it work and we're winning games. And I don't care how we win a game. I'm not going to apologize if we win a Super Bowl by 1 point. I am not going to apologize for it.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't apologize for that. But yesterday, that was a bit different. It's not about not apologizing. That game was out of our control in the second half.
Yes.
The Lions could not control the second half at all. You do that against the Chiefs or the Ravens or anybody else, and it's not going to be winning by 1 point. It's going to be losing by 12. That's how much in trouble the Lions are right now.
Yeah.
With personnel being as light as it is, they're in trouble. And I'm sorry. I'm not trying to piss in anybody's Cheerios this morning. That's a fact. They're in trouble right now. You can't lose 11 offensive or 11 defensive players from your starting 53 and say that we're okay. We're not. And we're not going to be until we see what Brad Holmes does. I'm not going to it's not all rainbows and sunshine and marshmallows. We're in trouble. Believe it or not, as a Lions fan, we won the game barely, yes, but we are in trouble. You have to face the music. We have the Packers in less than 7 days.
Yep.
We're in trouble. Depending on what happens with injuries, if Pascal's fine and if Levi is fine, I think that we'll be able to get through it with David Long that we just brought in to fill in for Rodrigo. I think that we'll be okay. Now, he's not going to be the same style of player that Rodrigo is as far as coverage, but he's at least going to give us something in the run game. But if we lose Pascal and Levi for this next game, we're in trouble. I'm just telling you, I don't know who else is going to step up. We don't have any other edge rushers. And I heard it yesterday. I saw comments, all throughout Twitter and everywhere else Brad Holmes should have done more. Brad Holmes had an opportunity to do more and had an opportunity to bring more players in. Okay, let's face the music there too. There's only so many players you can put on a roster. And if you're confident with the guys that you have on your roster, it's not like you can just continue to add guys. Guys also have to be available, right? I mean, I don't want to hear the Myles Garretts or the Max Crosbys. Those were never going to happen, ever. And it's not likely to happen ever because those players have to become available by that team. So to say that Brad should have done more, look, he can only do what he can do. He can't force a team to trade a player. If they're not available, they're not available. And that's what we're at right now is they're not available because the trade deadline's over. So now you have to reach to the couch. You have to reach to the practice squad and find guys that maybe can help you. And I just don't know of any other than TJ Watt. They could really help us win some ball games. And I doubt that he's coming. So I feel like we're in trouble. But that doesn't mean that I'm giving up on my Lions. It doesn't mean that I'm giving up on the season. It just means that we might have, be 11-2 next week. Big deal, right? We're still okay. But we can't be losing division games. We can't be losing games, period, and dropping and making it closer for the Vikings. It's either we're 1 seed or 5 seed this year. That's our number. And I've said it yesterday, and I'll say it again. If we're 5 seed, that is a very difficult road to hoe, as banged up as we are, to go on the road and still think that we have a shot at the Super Bowl. I'm just being real. You know that's what this channel's about. It's real. So I don't mean to piss in your Cheerios, but I want to listen to Eberflus so we can have a good laugh. Any comments on that, Eric?
Stay positive, my friends. We got this. 12-1 loading.
Of course.
You're never getting anything different from me. Ever. Ever.
That's the difference between,
there ain't
realism and hopeism.
There ain't no piss in my Cheerios.
Realism and hopeism. Realism, you look at this team, you've got to know that we're in trouble. We are in trouble.
Tell me that after we smoke the Packers.
I hope we do. I just don't see it happening right now. Until I see an injury report, until I hear Dan Campbell say that everyone's fine and everyone's going to be back on Monday, I'm not gonna think that way. I'm gonna be ready for what I need to report, which is the truth, the transparency, and the honesty about what's going on with your Lions team. Like it or not. Like it or not. I mean, that's just what I have to do. It's what I've always done. I'm going to give you my honest opinion and forethought. I'm not wrong a whole lot on things, so I'm going to give you my honest opinion on what I see happening with this team. Do I still have confidence in this team? I do. Do I think they will still make it close? Absolutely. But what I saw yesterday in that second half, that gives me some pause for concern.
The reason it gives you pause for concern is because it reminds you of the NFC Championship game where we had the big lead and the second half collapse. And Vildor was out there once again getting pass interference penalties.
Hold up. Vildor was one of the best cornerbacks in the game yesterday, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but he got the pass interference penalty.
But it wasn't pass interference. It was a bullshit call.
I know. It was a horrible call. And there was a couple really awful.
Well, let me back up. Let me back up. It was pass interference only because, really it should have been illegal contact because he had his hands around the guy way down the field, even though the ball was 25 yards to his left. It was damn near thrown at the sideline, and Vildor ran and dove for the ball. The ball wasn't even catchable. It was not pass interference. It was illegal contact, and those are the penalties they have to get right. You can't call it pass interference because he didn't interfere with the pass. If anything, he illegally contacted or it was defensive holding downfield, and those are two way different penalties.
But
that moves the Bears all the way up to the point of penalty, or it's a 15-yarder. Big difference.
If that doesn't get called at all, if nothing gets called there, it's game over. That's it. Done. That was fourth down. Yeah. We don't have to worry about anything.
All right, let's bring in this Eberflus dude. I want to hear what he had to say about this. I have a feeling he's probably, taking it on the chin and going to take responsibility for it, but I still want to have a good laugh. Maybe. Here we go. All right, Eberflus. Oh, let me make this screen a little smaller so that we're actually in here. Hold on. I don't see Eric in here. Where's Eric? There's Eric. I know I'm gonna make everybody mad today because I'm telling them we're not gonna win next week. I don't know. We'll see.
Yes, we are gonna win next week.
We'll see. All right, here we go. Let's listen to Eberflus here. What did he have to say?
No audio, Will.
No audio?
Nope.
I kept having this problem yesterday, too. Hold on. There we go. Let me rewind it.
Okay, so just got out of the locker room with the guys. Obviously very disappointing. But also, I thought the guys battled really hard. 16-0. We didn't come out the way we wanted to in the first half. On offense, on defense, but I thought our guys battled. Holding those guys to field goals really helped us to stay in the game, and we did a good job of resetting ourselves at halftime. Offense did a heck of a job in the second half. In terms of efficiency and scoring points and getting us in position. Defense did what it had to do to put us in position to win the game as well. And then it came down to that last drive. The last drive right there. We were there at the end.
Let me start with this first off. He's absolutely right. The Lions not scoring touchdowns when we're deep into the red zone, that was a problem yesterday. Now, we knew that this defense that the Bears brought was pretty good, but they are one of the worst teams in the red zone. Like, they are not great in the red zone. So why did we have difficulty, throwing on the Bears? Why did we have difficulty scoring points in the red zone? To me, that was pause for concern right away. Like, what's going on here? But to see Jake Bates trot out there, knock the field goals through, that was expected. Missing the last one, though, that he attempted, no, it doesn't concern me about his skill or him as a player, but that's his wheelhouse. Like, that distance, like, you're normally not concerned with Jake Bates. He's going to hit those all day long. So had Jake had a rough day yesterday and missed all 3 field goals, this is a different game. We've got to score in the red zone. We cannot let teams stop us in the red zone. Yesterday, we got stopped way too often, and the Lions got to figure that out. And to me, again, I thought Ben was great mixing things up. I mean, he's doing things to get the crowd into it early, the handoff to Penei Sewell and all that. I think that was just crowd momentum. That's all they're trying to do is get the crowd into it. And it worked, I'm sure. I'm sure that place went nuts. And then, to see where our play calling was a little bit suspect, I think is what kept the Bears in this game. But I want to say this about Eberflus. Does he not look like an older Sean McVay? He just looks like an older Sean McVay to me. But anyway, let's keep listening to this dude.
They had penalty. We had penalty. We had a bunch of penalties.
Uh-oh. Where'd the volume go?
Their hands to the face. We had penalty.
What the hell just happened? Eric, do you got audio?
Yeah, I can hear it.
I don't have audio from you either. What in the world is going on?
What are you doing over there, Will?
All right, Eric, do you have audio now?
Yeah, I could have it the whole time.
Hold on, buddy. I don't know. I think something's wrong with my roadcaster.
I don't know. I think something's wrong.
Yeah, we're good over here, man. Yeah, we can hear everything through the main feed. Will has an echo. We can hear Eberflus and Eric. Oh, man. So how you guys doing today? Are you guys on board with me thinking that we're going to beat the Packers?
Like through the YouTube, but
yeah,
I can't hear you.
Really? You can't hear me, Will? Oh, what the hell, man?
I don't know.
I'm on there. I know they can hear me. If you guys agree with me and you think we're going to beat the Packers, put yes in the chat, please. You guys need to side with me on this one. We're not losing to the Packers.
I don't know. I got issues, I guess, today.
Weird.
Could you at least hear Eberflus
Yes.
the second time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
Hands to the face. We had they called a pick route on us, but we also had the DPI that put us in position, and it's knocking us out of field goal range. Those penalties, and then we're there at 2nd and 20. Take the sack right there, and so we're at 36 seconds right there, and our hope was, because it was 3rd going into 4th, that we would re-rack that play at 18 seconds, throw it in bounds, get it into the field goal range, and then call the timeout. And that's where it was, and that was our decision-making process on that. Again, we were outside the field goal range. Process on that was, and throw it in bounds, get it into the field goal range, play at 18 seconds, throw it in bounds, get it into. We would rack, and our hope was, because it was 3rd going into 4th, that we would re-rack that play at 18 seconds, throw it in bounds, get it into the field goal range, and then call the timeout. And that's where it was, and that was our decision-making process on that. Again, we were outside the field goal range, so we needed to get a few more yards in there. as close as we can get, and then we're going to call timeout, and that's why we held that last timeout at the end of the game. So, like I said, disappointing.
Okay, so if I rewound it a couple of times to try to understand what he's saying. I think what he's saying is they wanted to throw the ball in bounds. At 32 seconds, by 18 seconds, they want to throw the ball in bounds and then call a timeout. Okay. Well, what are you thinking at 7 seconds when you haven't hiked the ball? What are you thinking at 10 seconds when you haven't hiked the ball? What are you thinking? Why is nobody jumping up and down and saying, hey, we've got to stop the clock because Caleb is screwing everything up? What was going on with you, Eric, when you were sitting there in the stands and you're watching the clock just tick? I mean, everything that I've seen so far, everyone is wondering what just happened. And that's the way I was yesterday at the end of the game. What just happened? How do you collapse that bad?
You want to know what I was thinking? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's all that was going through my head. And I counted down watching the clock.
Yeah, but what was the question? The question is, what was going on in the stadium?
It was going nuts. Everybody's like, "What the hell? The game's over." I didn't realize the game was over. Everybody thought there was still time on the clock because they hadn't taken a timeout. And people were like, "Why didn't they take a timeout? Why didn't they take a timeout?" Place went nuts. And you want to know what? For 10 minutes after that game, not a single person left their seat.
Oh, I'm sure.
Nobody. It was like the playoffs. It was like a playoff game. It was absolutely incredible in there yesterday. Best regular season home game I've been to in forever. The crowd was so loud on every first, second, third, and fourth down for the Bears when they were out there on offense.
Yeah, we've got to do the Beetlejuice this morning. So, Broski Bear, Broski Bear, Broski Bear, where are you?
Yeah, where are you, Broski Bear? Yeah, you never came on the show like he said he was going to. Oh, I forgot all about my bet with Broski Bear.
Which was?
You just reminded me. If the Lions lost to the Bears on Thanksgiving, I had to buy Broski Bear a ticket to the Bears game at the Bears.
Should have been vice versa. You should have to buy you a ticket, right?
Yeah, you've got to buy me a ticket to the Bears game now. I don't have to pay for my ticket.
All right, Trace just put up a reminder that we got 100 people watching. We need to get about 20 more likes to get the ads off. I assume ads are on. Let's finish listening to Eberflus. So, yeah, I'm just kind of getting an idea here what was going on in the stadium, because for me, watching the last 32 seconds and the way that Caleb Williams totally mismanaged, that 32 seconds, it almost looked like it was intentional. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how a quarterback that has played that much football, that much situational football, and has hopefully gone through that stuff during the week. You practice the last 2 minutes. You practice the last 30 seconds. You practice these kind of plays. How do you blow this crazy comeback on Thanksgiving, ready to put a dagger in the NFC North, division foe and Lions fans that are having an incredible season, and you blow it? And your coach doesn't think anything about calling a timeout. Yeah, you'd have to waste a timeout. But to say that you weren't in field goal range, weren't they at like the 32-yard line?
It would have been what did they say? Yeah, that's what I think about it. It would have been a really long, like a 56 or something yard field goal.
That's not out of field goal range. It's just a long field goal.
I know, but they have Santos, our old kicker. Yeah, I listen, the whole end of that game, even my wife was like, she doesn't know the first thing about football. Okay. Right. Nothing. She doesn't know plays, nothing. She had to learn every time that the AC/DC Hell's Bells came on that she had to take her sign and put it up and, and cheer and stuff. And she did that. She did really great. And even she was confused by the end of the game. She's like, why didn't they call a timeout? I'm like, I don't know, but they could have, and they could have tied the game at least.
Really, really odd. This really odd, man.
I think what happened is Caleb Williams wanted to win the game. He didn't want to go to overtime. I think he wanted to put the game on his shoulders and win it with the last second heroic throw to Roma Dunze over the middle and have him score. And it just didn't work.
You know, I will say this, though. I mean, it feels great that we snapped this streak, right? I mean, this curse on Thanksgiving, we snapped it. And listening to Jeff Daniels' song yesterday, loved hearing the song yesterday.
We need to get that on here because that was friggin' great.
Yeah, we'll get it. But the other thing too is I'm gonna put this back out there for the hopium. Okay.
Yeah.
When you have a season of destiny, when it's just your time, right? When it's your opportunity to do something that you haven't done before, these things happen, right? Sometimes you manifest destiny, you bring it forward, you know, you bring the good energy in. It's just your time. And sometimes you're just given a break. Yesterday was as big of a break as I've seen the Lions get in decades, because that yesterday was the Lions of the old. That was us that would completely collapse in the last few minutes of a game. Mismanagement of clock, personnel, running onto the field with too many players, whatever. That's us. You know, it's the penalties that are called against us. It's the mythical penalties that are called against us that ruin games, against Dallas, against anybody. Yesterday, it wasn't us. It was the Bears. And it was our turn to receive a gift. For whatever reason, we got one. So for the Hopium fans out there, yesterday was not so much about dominating the Bears and winning the game in epic fashion. It was, we were gifted a game for whatever reason. We were gifted that game because that game was out of control. It was out of control in the second half. So thank you to whoever the gifters are. Appreciate it. Let's listen to Eberflus.
I'm disappointed for the players. They put a lot of work in a short week and put themselves in position to win that game. So with that, I'll take questions.
At the end, when you saw the clock tick down under 10, why didn't we call timeout?
Yeah, so right there, we liked the play that we had, and we were hoping that he was going to call it or get the ball snapped, and then we would have called timeout right there. But once it's under 7 there, then you call timeout there, then you're basically throwing the ball to the end zone, because once it's under 12, you can't throw it inside with no timeout. And it was third going into fourth. So that's a big deal. So it was third going into fourth. That's why we wanted to preserve the timeout.
So in retrospect, how should you have handled the final sequence?
Yeah, I like what we did there. Again, once it's under 7, you're gonna call timeout there, or actually under 12, and then really you don't have an option. Because it's third to fourth, you got to throw it into the end zone then. So to me, it's I think we handled it the right way. I do believe that you just re-rack the play, get it in bounce, and call timeout, and that's why we held it, and didn't work out the way we wanted it to.
There were 32 seconds left on Campbell.
Okay, so is he not trying to blame Caleb here? Because Caleb had the team, had the Bears lined up. What were they waiting for? What was he honestly waiting for? They had at least 25 seconds, 22 seconds of time that they're lined up, ready to go. And I get what Eberflus is saying here. Yeah, under 12, very difficult to throw the ball inbounds and get the timeout and everything else. Or the under 12, that's about when you can do it, right? 6 seconds of play is about average. 7 seconds, I mean, it took almost that time to throw the ball down to the end zone and for all the time to kick off or tick off of the clock anyway. So under 7, you're kind of screwed. And I get what he's saying about third into fourth. You really don't have an option here, because if you do call a timeout at 12 seconds, and then they have one opportunity at the end zone, and then that's it. So it's dead ball. Maybe you have a couple of seconds left on the clock. Then you're kicking that 59-yard field goal or whatever it is to try to tie it. But I tell you what, he should have known at 15 seconds, if my quarterback doesn't get this off in the next 3 seconds, I'm calling a timeout. Because at that point, you don't have another option. You have to go to the end zone. You have to do something to put yourself into at least some sort of a chance. So I want to hear this guy get grilled, because so far he has not given me very, winnable answers here.
Got sacked. How do you come away with only one desperation shot in the end zone that didn't really seem to catch?
Yeah, just like I explained, we wanted to re-rack that. Like I said, get a play in bounce and then call timeout. And that's where it was. It was 3rd and 4th going there. So
What was the play? Because it ends up being a deep shot to Rome that lands harmless.
yeah, I mean, I'm not going to talk about specific plays, but it was a play that was going inside, and then because we had the timeout, and we would have been in field goal range then. It would have been all set.
What went wrong on the sack where Larry kind of got caught out there with 2 rushers?
Yeah, I have to look at the exact play. I got to look at the play right there. Again, I got to get to the bottom of that. I didn't see it. I mean, I saw the guy come free, and I know what the play was, but yeah, I got to look at it.
Now, why wasn't the ball snapped at 18 seconds?
We just got to get it. We just got to do a better job together. Just got to do a better job together to re-rack that play, get it off, and then call timeout once it's inbounds there.
So once it's at 18, is there like a time is it ticking that you could theoretically?
Yeah, you could take it down to you're taking it down there, right? So 18, and then down there, right there, and then once it gets under 12, then you got to hold on to it then.
So is this on the players for not getting it snapped?
No, it's a situation where you got to get you get the play in, right? You snap the ball, and get it off, and then we'll call timeout.
All right, so if I'm understanding what he's saying here, they didn't get the play in on time? Are you getting that at all, Eric?
Yeah, and it sounds like Caleb just did what he wanted, and it is up to this coach. I don't care. At 30-something seconds, he should have taken the timeout then and been like, listen, throw the ball to the boundary, you get the ball out, get your guy out of bounds, just get us close enough for the field goal. If something's open over the middle and it's a touchdown ball, throw the ball. Otherwise, clock it, whatever you got to do, but make sure we have time to kick this field goal at the end. Dude, this is what I'm going to say. You take this exact same scenario and you flip it. You put the Detroit Lions coaches on the other sideline, Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson. Do they run the clock like that at the end of the game? And Jared Goff, that would never happen with them. I think our clock management is 1,000 times better than them. That's what Dan Campbell used to do. That's what he did in the Minnesota game that I went to in Minnesota in 2021 when we lost to Minnesota because we went for a field goal that we missed instead of going for it on 4th down. And that was when he learned he needed to trust his offense. Well, his time management has gotten so much better since then, because he had a bunch of these flub ups, just like Eberflus is doing, his first couple of years. Dan Campbell really blundered a bunch of times, but you know what? He learned from it and got better. Eberflus, this is 5 or 6 games in a row they've lost now?
I think this is number 5, yeah? No, 6.
Yeah. 5 or 6. Oh,
6.
Trace gifted 20 more.
Goodness,
My
Trace. Holy cow. Trace just gifted 20 new memberships. If you guys are in this morning or listening or watching, another 20 memberships just went out. Absolutely incredible, Trace. Really appreciate you. I'm interested to see who gets them this morning. And remember, they're completely random. So Trace doesn't pick people. These are completely random. YouTube just picks people.
Even though it seems to pick Broski Bear every time he's in.
Yeah, that's weird.
Every month he gets another one.
Well, I think here's the who they pick. It's the people that are listening the most and watching the most content. Those are the people that typically will get picked by YouTube because they deserve it. Brandy Coffee just got one.
Yeah, congratulations, all you guys that are new members. What an awesome time. It's Thanksgiving time. I'm going to have to figure out how to do this so I can give some because, I want to do that for Christmas season here. I want to start gifting some of these. I'm going to have to figure out how to do it.
So Motown Mitch got one, King SJ, Derek Lewis, Brandy Coffee. Oh, no, she got one the other day. Bill Collier. Dale Lynn, Mike Bahi, Comedy God, Wayne Rogers, Girth Brooks. Daniel Lasinski,
Brooks.
Shooter Girl, Roger Sellers, James Allen, Matthew Luke, Jason Bergman, Derek Lewis, Richard Blakely. A lot of people. Welcome. And Trace, big shout out to you this morning. We got ads turned off already. Appreciate you doing that for us again, Trace. Super awesome of you.
Must be a friend of Decker Packers.
Yeah, might be. All right, so before I forget, you guys need to start your day with Honolulu Blue Brew, which is what I do every single morning. You can get it at buymeacoffee.com/rockdon. It'll be posted all over the place on Twitter at Will Rock Jr. Or at Will Rock Jr. on Twitter. It'll be everywhere. Anywhere you see it, you can visit our shop at buymeacoffee.com/rockdon and support Rockdon Cancer Foundation. We've already had a lot of sales. Coffee's been doing well. And appreciate everyone that has put their hard-earned funds towards a good cause here. So I saw someone ask about Jameson Williams. If we talked about Jameson Williams, we could do that now. We'll move on from Eberflus. I think that Eberflus is done. I think that you can't. If Ryan Poles is not fired for the way that this season is gone, I would be surprised. But if at least if Eberflus is not fired, I would be surprised. I don't think that he gets along for some reason with his team. I feel like whatever's going on here, with the Bears, it's got to start with the head coach. I feel like he's just lost control of everything. He even lost control of the game yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
He did not convince me. In the few words that we just listened to, he didn't convince me at all. You put Dan Campbell in that situation, he would have convinced me. Right, he would have convinced me. And we've heard plenty of Dan Campbellisms after a loss. And it sounded more convincing than that. So, big shout out to Christopher Cunningham. Just gifted 5 memberships to Firefly Hill, Ronaldo Edits, Andy School, Casey, Derek W. Appreciate you guys. Christopher Cunningham. Big shout out to you, buddy. Thank you. Thank you for supporting Rockdon Cancer Foundation. All right, so JMO.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, I love talking about JMO when he does great things. Yesterday, he got benched. And he got benched for a costly taunting penalty. Now, the first headlines that I read from Detroit Free Press are this. Jameson Williams doesn't have to be perfect, but he does need to grow up. That was headline number 1. Headline number 2, then, is Lions Jameson Williams apologizes for costly taunting penalty versus the Bears. Okay. I think how he did it was more meaningful. He stood up in front of the team after the game, wasn't asked to do that, did it on his own, and addressed the team and apologized. Now, to me, that does show growth. But I want to kind of, I'm going to throw the parenting thing out there, right? So doing something after the fact doesn't dispel or remove any responsibility from what happened before the fact, right? If you do something incredibly wrong and you apologize for it, that's still not going to remove the wrong. Especially like in the court of law, right? You break the law, you get hauled off to jail, you get bailed out, you go home and you say, well, I apologize. You think the court's going to say, cool, we accept it, charges dropped? Nope, they're not. And in the court of public opinion, you do something stupid and you apologize for it, more times than not, it makes it worse. Because then they think that your PR team is just doing stuff for you and you haven't learned, which I think is the case. Jameson Williams hasn't learned. He hasn't learned a damn thing. He's still doing stupid stuff. And the reason why I say that is because his head coach just said this the other day about the grabbing the nut celebration, the Marshawn Lynch celebration.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I don't really get caught up in it. I tell our guys, hey, as long as you don't cost us 15, I'm good with whatever they do. So have fun with it. They are creative. They like to push the boundaries of whatever those are. I know our guys have fun with it, and I think that's important. They enjoy it, so it's all good. I feel the same way. But JMO cost us 15 yesterday. Damn near cost us the game. Can't be doing that. In a game that is that hot, that needed, that important, you can't be doing stupid stuff like that. You know, the week before, Jameer got a 15-yard taunting penalty. Can't do that. So I'm going to say the same thing about Jameer. Even though Jameer does 99.9% of things right, that 1.01% got him 15. Now, did we all raise up in arms and start saying, oh my God, Jameer, what did you do? No, because he does everything right. He has not been in the news since he's been on the team. He hasn't done anything wrong since he's been on the team. It's different with JMO because it's the repetitive act. And that's why people are getting sick of it. That's why pundits are getting sick of it. That's why Matt Derry's sick of it, is because it's just too much. Like, you've got to learn to put the team before you. We don't, and the fact that you were just pulled out of the game and benched, now we don't have you as an option. Now you can't help your team. What if it gets to a point where he gets tossed out of a game by the refs for something he does in an NFC Championship game, in a Super Bowl? Then what? I think that's what we have to look at, people, is how much of a record is he built that it's following him around wherever he goes now. At some point, this is going to turn into something much bigger, is what people are thinking. He's got to stop. He has to stop doing this stuff. So I'm not going to jump all up and down about it. We won the game, thankfully, but at some point, it's going to cost us a game. At some point, it's going to cost him, more suspensions, depending on what he does. Hopefully, he doesn't do anything. But now you just don't know. Anything that he could possibly do wrong, he's done wrong. Whether it's in game, after the game, on a weekend, a late night. He's pretty much hit all corners now. It just has to stop. So you got to put your team first, man. That's all it is. I can't believe that he was actually benched. But you know what that shows me? It shows me that Dan Campbell and the rest of this team are not, and the rest of these coaches are not going to put any player above the team.
Mm-hmm.
The way that he disrespected Antoine Randall-El yesterday on the sideline, I just thought that was terrible. This is a national game. Everyone in the country is watching this game, and you're yelling at your coach, and he's now got to yell at you because you won't shut up. And then an assistant tries to come, and get you to settle down, and you just keep going.
We didn't see any of that in the stadium.
This is the same JMO that did that same exact thing his first season. He got in like the last 6 games of the season, didn't know the playbook, was read the riot act because he didn't know the playbook. You could clearly see he didn't know the playbook. He had all that time to study, didn't know the playbook. And yes, the coaches said that as much. You can go back and look up the articles from 2022 or whenever it was. He didn't know the playbook. And that he was on the sidelines in the Green Bay game that he was yelling at his coaches. Because maybe he felt like he deserved the ball, or because a touchdown was erased by a penalty, whatever the case may be. He was yelling at the coaches on the sideline then. And I think he was benched then. So there's history. It hasn't stopped. Dan Campbell has said this. You can have one. You cannot have 2 on this team. You can have one guy that pushes the boundary. You cannot have 2. So did we just lose a player in James Houston because maybe he was pushing the boundary a little bit, but we couldn't lose JMO because he's too important to the offense? I mean, when you look at it, and I'm not saying James did anything because we just don't know. It's been speculated and rumored that there was issues.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There was issues with bugs. They removed them. There was issues with other players. They remove them. So if Jamo's a problem, but he's too beneficial to the offense to remove, you're stuck with him. What's going to happen at the end of his contract is my question.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Still got 5 games left. And listen, Jamo was getting jawed at all game long. He was getting held. He was getting pushed after the play. On that particular play, the gentleman that he threw the ball at tripped him as he was going out of bounds, and then decided to say some slurs at him, let's say. And Jamo was like, what? And threw the ball at him. And I understand the frustration, but when you're on a championship team, you have to put it away. And did he deserve to get benched? Sure. I didn't see it. I mean, like, I didn't see him jawing with Randall L. Antoine. And I didn't see him arguing with any coaches. They didn't show any of that in the stadium. And we're focusing on the game. We're not focusing on what's happening on the sidelines. That's what the cameras do. And that's what the national broadcast does, because they have 50 people watching everything. I'm one person in the stadium. So I definitely didn't see any of that. I'm going to rewatch the game for sure this afternoon. Hopefully before that 3:00 game today, the Black Friday game, Chiefs versus Raiders. But yeah, Jamo's just a little immature. He'll get it. It was fine. I would rather focus on things like the leap. Dude, that leap where he jumped over that guy, he must have got 6-7 foot in the air. It was awesome. Great play.
No one's denying what he is on the field. No one's denying his talent. But you know what? You're not going to be on the field if you continue to do stupid stuff. That's the problem.
I know.
Now, after the game, Dan Campbell said, look, I'll be honest with you, that's already been cleaned up. So we're good. As a matter of fact, Jamo got right in front of the team a minute ago, unsolicited, and wanted to apologize to his teammates. That's big. That's growth. So where I was going to next is, you do all this stupid shit, it's going to blow up in your face. It already has.
Yep.
The fact that he jumped in front of the team and did something afterward, that does show growth. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that doesn't mean that it's going to stop. That doesn't mean that we're not going to have a problem next week in Green Bay against a division rival that's going to be a heated game, and Jamo gets heated. Jamo loses his head. He loses his cool.
I would sit him down and tell him, listen, if you think Chicago was bad, wait until these guys come back to Ford Field, because they think they own Ford Field because they won on Thanksgiving last year.
Yeah, wait till you're in Chicago.
Yeah.
Then it's even worse. You know, our fans are supportive, right? I mean, our fans are great, and we travel. But wait till you're in Chicago. Wait till you go to Philly someday.
Yeah.
I mean, those are tough games, and you're going to hear a lot of crap when you're running around on the sidelines. You're going to hear a lot of crap. So look, this I'm just saying, like it or hate it. I don't care if people like or hate my takes. That's what's great about this business. I don't care. I really don't. I'm not here to just give you rainbows and marshmallows. I'm not going to. I'm going to give you the truth, the honesty, and the transparency, and I'm also going to give you my opinions that I feel come from fact-based opinions and history. And the history of the NFL will tell you that players like this generally repeat history. And I hope that Jamo breaks that trend. I hope that Jamo finally gets it together, because he is too important to this team. He's a damn good wide receiver. He's too important. We've seen it with Charles Rodgers. He could never just get out of his own way. And I hate to say it, but I don't think that he's that far off right now, or that close to a Charles Rodgers situation. But Charles could not get out of his way. Had all the talent in the world and just couldn't grow up. And I knew the dude personally. Just couldn't grow up. Jamo right now just is having trouble growing up. But what he does on the field, I mean, it's great when it's there. If your coach benched you, there's a problem. So don't blame me. Blame the coach. If the coach benched him, there's a problem. And I don't think that it would be right or fair for anyone to just, you don't just go ripping into your coaches on the sideline for stupid stuff that you're doing.
Well, I'll tell you this, Will. I have a 27-year-old son. And J-Mo's a little younger than that. And sometimes it takes a life lesson lived through to learn to grow up a little bit. And you have to live through your mistakes. You can't have somebody tell you, oh, this is, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. They have to live through it, and they have to learn from their mistakes. And sometimes it takes a few extra tries. Like, listen, I have one, and sometimes it's so frustrating because they don't get it on the first try. They don't get it on the second try. They don't get it on the third try. Sometimes it takes 10 or 15 tries, but eventually they get it. And it's really hard to sit back and let them learn these lessons on their own, but you have to let them. And young people these days are so much different than young people when I was younger. I'm starting to realize what the old folks used to be like what they would say to me when I was in my 20s. They had a very different view of the world, and now I'm the old guy with the different view of the world, right? And these young people are totally different. They grow up on iPads and cell phones and computers and different music and different everything. And it's a totally different world than what I grew up in. So to me, I just need to step back and say, hey, let's let him learn his lessons on his own. If he doesn't learn it, he'll be out of the league. If he learns it, well, then we'll have somebody that's totally awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with all that. I mean, I would think that, yeah, today's people, today's young adults, yeah, they grow up in non-reality. Yeah. It's not reality. We did not grow up with iPads in our face and phones in our face and altered reality and VRs and all that. Yeah, it's not reality. This instant messaging. Eric, what would you have done if you had to go talk to a friend 30 years ago? You didn't just send a message. You had to call him from a phone. You had to remember a phone number, and then you had to catch him at home.
Yeah, I still remember all the phone numbers from high school.
What I'm saying is it's different. It's different that they're in an altered reality, state these days. It's instant gratification. It's immediate gratification. And I'll just leave it at this with JMO. Yeah, the coaches will take care of it. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And the thing that you said is either he's going to get it or he's not. He's either going to be in the league or he's not. That's the question.
And it's up to him.
Maybe it is up to him, but I would say this too. You only get one opportunity to be in the NFL.
Yep.
Okay. You don't get as many mistakes as when you're not in the NFL. So comparing it to somebody that's not in the NFL and saying that they can get 12 or 15 tries, JMO's not going to get that many opportunities. He's probably got one or two left.
Well, I'll say this. He's got 5 more games. He's got 5 more games to prove that he deserves to get a 5th-year option.
Well, remember, he's already lost all of his guaranteed money.
Yep.
The Lions can walk away from him right now and not owe him a dime. And I'm not saying that the Lions would do that. But what I am saying is he's already on the cusp of losing everything. He was just benched for the second time of his career. Very short career. Has he even played 17 games yet? I don't think he's even played a full season's worth of games yet. I don't know that he has. Honestly, I haven't looked.
I don't know.
And I'll tell you this much: his yards and everything he does is not that hard to make up for right now. You could find somebody that could make up what he's putting down. All right, let's move on to some injury news, which another great topic to talk about today. Levi Onwuzurike Well, we know Josh Pascal exited with a knee injury, and I saw that play happen. So when he was chasing Caleb, he just went down awkwardly. And it almost looked like he lost his footing. And then when I saw him get up, I'm like, wait, he didn't just lose his footing. Something's not right there. And he did slam his knee into the turf pretty hard. I didn't see anything else from this. So I didn't know if this was just bone bruise or if it was non-contact knee injury. And I haven't really seen anything come back. Levi Onwuzurike, he hurt his hamstring. And we know how hamstrings are. They could be anywhere from a week to 4 weeks to 6 weeks. So hopefully that one's not as big of a deal as usually that it is, I guess is what I'm going to say. And then Rodrigo, are we talking ACL here? Legit ACL? Is that what we're talking?
It's looking that way. And that's why they said it was the most concerning. Because from what I hear, it was a non-contact injury and he just went down.
I don't understand how one team can have so many injuries. So, Eric, last night I went through it. You guys are going to be blown away. I'll go through it again. I'll pull up my notes and I'll give you guys an idea of what we're looking at and why I'm telling you that we're in trouble. Malcolm Rodriguez, according to this 6 hours ago, I'll just read it. It says his knee injury adds to the growing list of setbacks for the Lions. Despite a 23-20 Thanksgiving Day victory over the Bears, a linebacker was injured on the fourth quarter of the game when it appeared to hurt his right knee. Although he was able to walk off the field on his own, he did not return. The injury has raised concerns among the coaching staff. Head coach Dan Campbell noted that while the team dealt with the injuries, that it was Rodrigo that was the most worrisome. Yeah, he was already stepping in for Derek Barnes and Alex Anzalone. I mean, we only have Trevor Nowaski, Ben Nyman, Ezekiel Turner, Long. I mean, those are the guys that we have left. I didn't see anything about ACL yet. I mean, I've seen it in the chat, but I haven't seen it reported yet.
Let me see here.
But yesterday during the live stream or in last night's post-game show, so get this. The Lions had Aiden Hutchinson, Marcus Davenport, DJ Reader, Ali McNeil, Levi O, Josh Pascal, Mekhi Wingo, John Kaminsky, and James Houston on the initial edge or defensive line roster, right? We don't have Aiden. We don't have Davenport. We have DJ Reader. We have Ali McNeil. Levi O is now hurt. Josh Pascal is now hurt. We have Mekhi Wingo. John Kaminsky is hurt. And we no longer have James Houston. We have 3 healthy defensive line, defensive edge players from our initial 53-man roster. 3. If Levi O and Josh Pascal come back next week, we have 5 out of the 9 that we started with. We also have Pat O'Connor he was on the roster yesterday with Levi O, Josh Pascal, Zadarius Smith, Broderick Martin, Mekhi Wingo, Ali McNeil, and DJ Reader. What a difference it is just through the season to see where we started and where we are now. In the linebacker room, we had Alex Anzalone, Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, Malcolm Rodriguez, Jalen Reeves-Maben, and Ben Nyman on our initial 53-man roster. And now we have Jack Campbell and Ben Nyman. 2 out of 6 linebackers. And those 2 were backups. So now we have backups of backups of backups playing the linebacker position with the guys that we brought in. David Long Jr., what a big pickup. That is going to be a pickup that probably saves the linebacker room. Perfect pickup by Brad Holmes. So there's some rainbows and marshmallows for you.
Mm-hmm.
Broderick Martin's back. There's some rainbows and marshmallows for you. I think that Broderick Martin is now going to have to figure it out quickly to get inserted into this defense and do some things. But we are missing dearly some edge rusher support with Levi O and Josh Pascal. Pascal's been one of the best defensive ends to contain the edge that I've seen all season. Not just for the Lions, but almost league-wide. He's been that good containing the edge.
Another one that got hurt yesterday was Makai Wingo with an ankle.
I didn't even see that one.
Yep.
What kind of ankle injury are we talking about?
Lower.
Lower's better than high. So
Yep.
That's all that I can say there is it's better than, I mean, low is, a couple of weeks, high ankle sprain could nag you the whole season. When did he go out? I didn't even see him go out.
Fourth quarter.
Of course. That fourth quarter was awesome for us with injuries.
Brutal. Oh God. And sitting in the stands, it was like every play, every single play of that fourth quarter, either someone for the Bears or someone for the Lions was down, TV timeout. Down, TV, they kept saying injury timeout, injury timeout, injury time. And we're like, what the hell is going on?
The thing that worries me about Makai Wingo is he had what? He had a knee injury before week 9.
Yeah.
Right? Or no, I'm sorry. He had an ankle injury before week 9 and then a knee injury. And now he's got another ankle injury just a few weeks later. It's probably the same ankle.
Hey, here's some rainbows and sunshine. Did you know the only QB since 1950 to have 10-game winning streaks with multiple teams? Jared Goff and Peyton Manning.
Yeah, we did pretty well with records yesterday. For Jared Goff at least, but for the team. This is the best start to our season. We'll switch over the last 40 minutes. We'll give you guys some sunshine and rainbows. How about that?
There we go.
Come on. Look, I'm excited that we won the game. It's just there's a lot going on here that it's really starting to stack up against us. And I just hope that our destiny of a season is just not going to end up like the Eagles last season. Because the Eagles were on a hot streak and then it just all collapsed.
Yep. And
I'm hoping that's not where we're going. Because this has been way too fun. This has just been. Oh, so here's bad news. The Dolphins are holding firm. They're not letting Shaq Barrett unretire. So we're not going to get Shaq Barrett anytime soon. So why are they not going to let him? Why are they not going to let him unretire? They have confirmed that they will not activate linebacker Shaq Barrett from the reserve retired list for the remainder of the season. This decision keeps Barrett under contract with the team through 2025, preventing him from playing elsewhere during the playoff season. The move has stirred debate over team strategy, with some seeing it as a smart play to retain control over a valuable asset, while others argue it might be unfair to Barrett, who retired before the season started. This situation highlights the intricate balance between player rights and the team management in the NFL. Upcoming games like the Dolphins matchup against the Green Bay Packers will proceed without Barrett's participation as the team looks to other players to fill his role. Well, that sucks. It sucks that we don't have a really good option at linebacker. Not saying that he'd come to the Lions, but there's always that opportunity.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Lions are 11-1. It's the best start to a season in franchise history.
Ever.
Yeah. The only players to produce 100-plus points in their first career season, Jake Bates tops the list. 2024, Eddie Murray was in 1980 and Doak Walker in 1950.
Nice.
And Jahmyr Gibbs, first player in franchise history to produce 70-plus scrimmage yards in each of his first 12 games of the season. That's a big one. 70-plus in every game.
What's he at for yards on the season now? Do you know for Jahmyr Gibbs? Is he at 900 something? It'd be cool if he could get over 1,000 at the Packer game.
Could be close. I'm not real sure. We'll take a look here. He is at 973, so he should be able to get it. He should be able to get it versus the Packers.
Right on.
Monroe's at 820.
How refreshing is it to have a team that basically every year now we get a 1,000-yard rusher? You know, we had who was it? Williams got it 2 years ago, and then last year David Montgomery got it, and then this year Gibbs is going to get it. So how refreshing is that? Because Matt Stafford, that's one thing he never had. He never had the 1,000-yard rusher.
Yeah.
So
it's been a while, man.
it's nice to see Detroit have a little more balance and have a run game and not be like the Bengals throwing the ball for 1 billion yards and losing every game.
Yeah, it's funny. Rob Newsom says in here, says not long ago, people were calling Pascal a bust. The guy is a talented run stopper. He is, man. He is. He's just been one of those guys that hasn't produced and hasn't really done much in his career. You know, he's faced a lot of injuries, and this was his first opportunity this year to really show what he had, you know, since being drafted. And it's finally coming alive. So it's good to see. It's good to see that, you know, he's put into a position that he hasn't played a whole lot, and he's been doing really well at that position. And that's another reason why the big end is so important in this scheme. You know, having the big end, what they call the crush the can end, is so important in this scheme, that you need somebody that can get down the line and take out the runner. And then you've got to have a guy on the other side that can get after the passer, or both. And it's working well for Pascal. So really, really working well.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for Will to see what I'm doing.
You got the cheese grater on?
Hell yeah.
There you go.
It's grating time. It's time to grate some cheese. I will be wearing my cheese grater at the game. I'm going to upgrade it, though. I'm putting LED lights in here and going to put some lion stickers on it. Going to make it awesome.
How about the picture of Penei Sewell yesterday? Did you guys see that?
No, a picture.
Yeah, of him completely stuffing out the Bears defender. I mean, like,
no,
really, dude.
I'll say this though, on the trick play that I called, I knew that they were going to run some trick plays. They were going to pull crap out of the kitchen sink to get past these guys. And
it's not a hard call, is it?
Yeah, I don't know. Everybody said, no, we're not going to run any trick plays. I thought we were going to. And when Penei Sewell came around the end with the football, ready to throw it, he could have got it to Amon-Ra. If he would have seen him, Amon-Ra was open. Right over the middle. And I wish he would have threw it. That would have been so awesome.
I think he had a little bit of pressure in his face.
He did. But Amon-Ra was open. He could have thrown the ball. But then once he turned into a rusher, man, I wish he would have just turned it up. I wish he wouldn't have ran to the boundary. I wish he would have turned up field and just plowed into the guy, because he would have got a couple yards.
Oh, yeah. Ed O'Neill wants to talk about the abysmal play calling by Ben Johnson. We'll get into that for the last few minutes. Here you go. Let me show you this picture. This picture is pretty funny. There you go.
Oh, jeez. That's on that play.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Love it.
Yep.
Absolutely love it. You know, he's got more speed than what a lot of people give him credit for.
Oh, yeah.
The guy's got wheels. And as big as he is, he's got like a washboard for like a chest and a stomach. Like he's fit. And I would love to see him get more involved. You know, how come there's not a $20,000 fine for grabbing somebody else's junk? I mean, right? I mean, that's what he did. I mean, that bear is grabbing on for dear life.
Yeah,
grabbing onto the biggest thing he could find. Jesus.
Yeah, getting some laughs in the last hour anyway.
Yeah, so Ed O'Neill, let's talk about. And look, man, this season is like it's starting to wane on us, man. It's getting to the point now where, you know, we've got to worry a little bit about it, and it depending on what happens over the weekend and by Monday's going to tell us a lot, and we're not going to even hear anything probably. Well, we might, because they're on a short week, so they probably should have press conferences on Monday. But I think that's going to be the first press conference and the injury press conference. If it doesn't come today, will come by Monday, and that'll be the telling story of kind of where we sit, because we're not in a great position. We're not.
They said last night there will be no more injury news until Monday.
Oh, then there you go. So we're going to have to worry about it all weekend.
Yep.
Look, there's no Black Friday sales right now on edge rushers. You just can't pick them up at your local Walmart or whatever.
How about Muhammad yesterday? He was fantastic yesterday. What a pickup from the practice squad.
Yeah, Muhammad's been great. Muhammad's been great.
Man, I gave that guy a couple weeks, and look what he's doing. He's just fine.
Well, he's also been in the league for like 6 years.
What do you have? 7 pressures and a sack, something like that?
I don't know. I haven't even looked at any of the pressure stats. I probably should have.
Yeah, he was fantastic. Now, play calls with Ben Johnson. The only one that I did not agree with yesterday that I thought was absolutely atrocious was in the fourth quarter on our last possession. It was 3rd and 1. And he hands the ball off to David Montgomery up the middle with 9 men in the box. I didn't like that play. I would rather see Goff do a quarterback sneak, and it was out of shotgun as well. I didn't like that either.
Well, there was a lot that was going on yesterday.
Because Goff did do a sneak, and he got it easily yesterday. That's why I didn't know on these short plays why they weren't sneaking Goff. Goff hasn't been stuffed once this year on a sneak.
I mean, let's put it this way. Is Ben Johnson a play calling god in this league? Probably. Does he do way more right than he does wrong? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But there's just times that it seems like yesterday in the game, we're running the ball with ease, and then all of a sudden you stop. And I never understand this about Ben Johnson. You're running the ball with ease, and then you just stop. And that's when the offense sputters out. Just keep doing what's working. There's no reason to stop and try to fix something that's not broken. I'll never understand it. We got held up in the red zone a couple of times because he just stopped doing what was working.
Yeah.
And you can't call, 3rd and 7s and have guys running 5-yard routes. Whether that's on the player or it's the play call, these guys have, look, I've never seen a lot of our wide receivers put themselves in a position where they weren't able to get a first down. And whatever's going on the last couple of weeks, I'm seeing it. I've seen it more often where the guys are short of the sticks. They've got to get that fixed. They have to be at the sticks or beyond. Otherwise, those plays get stuffed way too often, especially in the red zone where it's already a tight field. Guys are much closer to you. There's not a whole lot of open space between you and a defender in the red zone. And they need to get to the sticks. But overall, I mean, yesterday's game, we were off and running and flying through that first half. But we sputtered out way too often in the red zone. And that gives me a little bit of concern. It was a good defense, sure. But I don't think that they are very good in the red zone. Ben definitely has to. Ben needs to. He needs to continue to mix it up a lot more.
I think we were 2 of 7 in the red zone.
Yeah, that's terrible.
It's not good enough. It reminded me of what the Bucks did against us in week 2. That whole game reminded me of the Bucks game where we were kicking field goals instead of scoring touchdowns. We convert one of those. That's it. Game over.
Yeah, and you don't know that though. So you don't know that till the end of the game, right? That's the difference. You just don't know that.
Yeah. 4 more points puts it out of reach.
I mean, look, I guess, the red zone defense in the league. I mean, I know that the Bears are like number 2 or 3 and the Lions are like number 2 and 3. Like we're pretty even from a red zone defensive scoring percentage, right? I mean,
I thought they were a bad one.
No, I felt that the Bears were not that good yesterday. Like I felt like we had more opportunity, and for whatever reason, it's like we get into the red zone and Ben Johnson changes everything as opposed to doing what you're supposed to do that was working. Even though it was working the 20 to the 20, you probably still should have kept with it. So we changed something and then they changed something, and then the Bears do what they've been doing all season, which has been stopping teams in the red zone. And I feel like it was the play calling by Ben Johnson that was not allowing us to continue to push the ball. Here's a thought. Throw it into the end zone. Like, forget the red zone. Has anyone ever thought about throwing the ball into the end zone in this league anymore? I just don't see it often enough. You go back and watch, the Lions during the Matthew Stafford era, and go watch how many times he threw the TD or threw the touchdown into the end zone from 20, 25 yards out.
Yeah.
30 yards out. All the time. I don't ever see us throwing the ball in the end zone. This has been something that I've been talking about for a few years now. We just don't throw the ball enough into the end zone. Sure, if you're at the goal line, they might do it. But I'm talking beyond the red zone. Forget the red zone. If you're having trouble pounding the ball from the 20 in, then when you get to the 25, throw it to the end zone. At least once. Just don't see it enough. Just don't see it enough. I don't know what you disagree about, Motown Mitch. I don't know what I said that you disagree with.
I don't either.
We disagree. We know TDs are better than field goals. Yeah. Of course we know that. What I mean by that, Motown, is we don't know that till the end of the game that touchdown would have won the game, is what I'm saying. So early in the game, you're kicking field goals, you're taking the points, whereas Dan Campbell normally might go for that in other games. In this game, he wasn't going to take a chance. And had he pushed, a couple of those fourth downs into going for it or going for the touchdown or something, we don't know how important those field goals would have been till the end of the game. Dan Campbell's definitely changed his strategy. I feel like he's changed his strategy since Jake Bates has been around. I don't think that he doesn't have the same gusto, in the red zone that he did last year. I mean, we could go back and look. That'll be something to look up over the weekend, Eric. How many times did Dan Campbell go for it, in the red zone on fourth down last season versus this season? How many times have we taken the points? And I think there's going to be a stark difference, even without even knowing what the stats are. I'm going to tell you that this year Dan's gone for it way less.
Yeah.
Especially in yesterday's game. So my whole point is we just don't know what that touchdown would have been for us. So to Eric's point, had we got a touchdown from one of those field goals, the game was out of reach at that point, even with the way that the Bears came back in the second half. So that's all I'm saying there.
Yeah, we had quite a few opportunities to score, and one of them I want to highlight, okay? And that is the pass over the middle into the back of the end zone to Tim Patrick. Tim Patrick got open. Goff missed him. He threw it a little high, little outside. I'm telling you what, I had a very good size bet on Tim Patrick to get his first touchdown yesterday. And that was so disappointing to me because I knew it was coming. I knew they were going to try to hit him in the end zone, and they did. They tried again, and he just missed it.
Yeah, it was one of my calls during yesterday's or was that Wednesday's Rise and Grind morning show that Tim Patrick was finally going to get his first TD and that Sam Laporta was going to have a big day. Those are two of my calls. Now, Tim did get active early. He got a big pass. It was like 30-yard pass.
Mm-hmm. God, he was awesome.
Sam Laporta didn't get crap for yards, but he got 2 tutties. And I thought Amon-Ra was going to kind of have an off day. He's going to be right around that, mid-level game for him, which was like 50, 60 yards. I think he ended up with 70 something.
73, I think.
Yeah. And then I thought J-Mo was going to have a big day, and he got off and running early, and then he got benched. So he kind of screwed us on that. But overall, I mean, all my calls hit yesterday except for Tim Patrick getting a TD and Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery not getting in the end zone. So those are the only ones that didn't happen. And that's because he changed up the play calling, man. I mean, I expected us to keep pushing the ball downfield with Jahmyr. I mean, the dude was on fire. He was averaging like 11 yards a carry through the whole game until the fourth quarter. It made no sense.
Yeah.
It made absolutely no sense.
But you know what? I got a giant smile on my face because the Lions are 11-1. I don't care how we won. My friend, Steve Arnold from the show Meteorite Men, some of you guys might have remembered that show. He is a diehard Chiefs fan, has been for his whole life. He's got Chiefs tattoos on his arm and everything. And we've been talking back and forth all year about the Lions and the Chiefs because he really thought it was going to be Lions Chiefs in the Super Bowl last year, and he thinks it's going to be Lions Chiefs in the Super Bowl again this year. And he messaged me after the game yesterday, and he's like, "So how does it feel to play a game like the Chiefs play games?" And he's like, "Eric, don't take no crap from nobody. He's like, a win is a win. Doesn't matter how you win, as long as you keep winning. And your team's got it, whether it's luck or whatever. He's like, just keep rolling. And he's like, you know what? I really believe the Lions and the Chiefs are going to be in the Super Bowl this year. And he's like, never be ashamed of a win. And I never will. I'm going to take it. I'm going to be happy all week. We finally got the Thanksgiving 16-year, whatever, since 2016 off our back. Lions deserve to have that Thanksgiving Day game, and I hope they never take it away. And I love Thanksgiving, but a lot of times it's super stressful. To me, yesterday was not stressful at all. We had the lead from the very beginning. We never gave up the lead. So that's my kind of game. I didn't have a heart attack like everybody else, but it was a heart attack game yesterday.
So you want to talk about stress. So I have adrenal dysfunction, right? So I have like no cortisol, and I have to take medication for it. And this is what's crazy. I was so stressed out in the last 5 minutes of that game that when I was done and I went and ate some food when we were done, with the game, my body couldn't take it. I was that stressed out yesterday as a Lions fan. I passed out. I ate, passed out for like 3 hours. And I woke up to one of the games on. I'm like, what just happened? I was that stressed. My body couldn't handle the last 5 minutes of the game. And so I took some hydrocortisone last night, and then I was right back to it. So, yeah, I was that stressed. So these games, they mean something, for me, because we needed that big win. I was just looking at Josh Pascal's injury here, looking at the video. Let me bring it in for you guys.
So I got a question. And I don't know how to look this up. So I'm going to need your help, Will.
Sure. What's the question?
I want to know how many minutes the Lions have been in a deficit this season.
How many minutes?
Yeah, like how much time have the Lions not had the lead in a game?
Oh, man, I don't know. I think you'd have to just do the work.
Because they were talking about, like in the beginning when the Vikings went 5-0, they've only trailed in the game for 3 minutes all season. And the Lions got the lead on them and kept the lead the whole freaking game.
Yeah, I think that you would have to do the work on that one.
Yeah, I don't.
There might be some statistician out there that's doing it and putting that information out.
Christopher Cunningham says 17 minutes, 16 minutes and 42 seconds we've trailed this year.
Who said that?
That's Christopher Cunningham and Great Lakes State guy.
Where did you get the information from?
Yeah. Where do you guys find that out? How many minutes we've trailed?
All right, here's Josh left to right, which again I think is MCL on the left side, and the patella tendon.
That looked like a late hit out of bounds, by the way.
I like watching Caleb. Hoofer, Jack. Nice. Nice pick up there on the spare. Love it, Jack. Good work. Got both of them. Yeah, it was a little late, right? But he didn't look like. You know what? Let me go back to that because it wasn't a late hit. That was a flop. Watch the.
I'll tell you this though, seeing Caleb Williams in person, he was much smaller than I thought he was going to be.
What is he? 6 foot? 6'1"?
I don't know. He's not as big as I thought. All of his his linemen and all of his wide receivers, they all towered over him. He was like the shortest guy on the field.
I don't remember him being that big, but here, let's look how big he is.
I don't remember.
I mean, it's not like quarterbacks are usually giant, but I would say that your average height for a quarterback, your prototypical size for a quarterback at least, should be 6'2.5", 6'3". That's prototypical size. Yeah, he's 6'1". So he's pretty short for a quarterback.
Oh, somebody trying to call in.
Yeah, we're not taking calls right now. It's 9:44. We're trying to get off the show today.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I've got to go meet my kids for lunch and a movie today, so I got to get rolling.
Well, I got a couple of questions for you if you want to finish off with that.
Yeah, let's roll. Do it.
All right. So this is an over or under reaction question. Well, it's a statement, actually. Caleb Williams is a bust.
Is that the question?
That's it. Is that an overreaction or an underreaction? Caleb Williams is a bust.
Okay.
Because you got to remember what you said preseason, what you've been saying coming up to this game.
Which is what?
Is that Caleb was a bust. We've been harping it all year. What do you think now after we've played him?
Caleb's still a bust. You know why?
Why?
Here's why. He blew the last 32 seconds of that game. He had that game won.
Yep.
That is completely on him. If Caleb had half a mind to do what was right in that game, he would have went like this and said, screw the coach. Can't get the playoff. You're not getting all right, let me wind this back a little bit.
Yep.
The coach even said it sounded like they were having trouble getting the play in. That's what Eberflus just said. They were trying to get the play in. And if you really listen intently to what he's saying, it's like they were having trouble. And by 18 seconds, they didn't have the play in. That's what it sounded like to me. It really took them 14 seconds to get the play in. Now, I think the helmets are only on for the first 15 seconds, and then they shut off. You can't talk to the player after the 15 or 20 seconds or whatever. I think it's 15. So then it's on Caleb to either say, hey, we've got to go. We got to go. You got to get your team ready to go. You've got to have clock management on the front, the front of your brain here. I would have said, forget it, timeout. And then make the coach do something different. Because if he would have called a timeout, even at 18 seconds or 19 seconds, that is still one play on third down. And then you kick the field goal. As long as you have, like he's saying, 12 seconds, you could go to the sideline and say, look, we're going to throw one play. If we catch it inbounds and don't get out of bounds, or if it doesn't go incomplete, our field goal team has to be ready to run on the field and be ready to kick the field goal in less than 12 seconds, and it can be done. 12 seconds is like the cutoff to run your team onto the field and kick the field goal. But you have to have it in your mind that, hey, whoever catches the ball, you have to run it all the way back to where that ball needs to go. You run it, you hold it, you bring it to the middle of the field or the hash mark, you hand it to the ref. Our team's coming on. So those are all situational things that the Bears didn't do right yesterday. And I'd say that a part of that problem is Caleb. Caleb had a good game. Caleb had a good game against the Vikings a few days before. But that still doesn't make up for all the other mistakes. All right, it still doesn't make up for all of the other problems that we've seen. It's only year one, but they just lost 6 games in a row. He didn't throw a touchdown for 4 or 5 weeks in a row?
Yep.
Those are quarterback problems.
Yeah. So I will eat a little bit of crow because I think Caleb Williams had a spectacular game against us. If our DBs could catch a football, he would have had 2 or 3 interceptions, and then I wouldn't be eating any crow. But I will say this. I think Caleb Williams is a bust. And the reason is he doesn't listen to his coaches. And I think he tries to put the whole game on his shoulders, and he tries to improvise. And that's why I think he's a bust, because he improvises and it just doesn't work.
Let me give him a little bit of flowers, though.
Yeah. Oh, I'm giving him his flowers.
A little bit of flowers. Impeccable. Not impeccable. Amazing speed with the ball. Like his throwing speed. I mean, great throws as far as his accuracy is way the hell off, but tight spirals, good speed on the balls, good touch on the balls, but it's like buckshot. So if he can somehow hone all of that in, if you don't have accuracy by now, he probably never will have it. But he's got an amazing rifle on that arm, right? Or on that shoulder. He really does. You've got to learn to hone it in, because he sprayed the ball everywhere yesterday. Shout out to Josh Jackson. He says, I think he's not an NFL caliber quarterback. His throws are inaccurate and erratic at best. Unless it's a crossing route, he can't hit the broadside of a barn. I agree. He is not accurate. And to Eric's point, the potential for interceptions yesterday, I think a couple of those were like the ball just kind of happened to hit them, like they were not expected at all. And they dove for a couple of balls that they almost had that were so far off, their target.
Like the Vildor pass interference one, my God, Vildor almost got it.
He almost got it.
Yeah, and that was
Kirby
like
almost got one
from anybody.
Yep. Amik was the guy I thought that was going to get the interception yesterday.
Yeah,
and I don't think he was anywhere close, though.
I think it's closer than you think it was. Yeah. He almost had one.
All right, what's the next question?
All right, so let's see. A win is a win unless it's the Detroit Lions.
In the media circus?
Yep.
In the media circus, if you're talking about me personally, I would say a win is a win. Just like Dan Gamble said last night, he's not going to apologize.
Nope.
Right? But in the media circus, nope. A win is a win unless you're the Lions.
Yep.
I agree.
They still hate us.
They're always good. No one wants us to win. I mean, well, let's put it this way. What Kyle Brandt did yesterday for Thanksgiving.
That was awesome.
That was incredible. And Kyle Brandt has been such a supporter. Now, he called us to win the Super Bowl very early on in the season.
Yeah, over the Bills.
And I love it. I think that Kyle Brandt is such a good dude. He grew up in Chicago, and he's still taking, the Lions. I don't know which team he actually supports.
He's a Bears fan.
Is he?
Yep.
And he did that for the Lions yesterday?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's incredible.
Well, it's because he knows the he knew the Lions were going to win. He knows that the Lions are a team of destiny, and they are. Listen, dude, this doesn't just happen. It doesn't. This happens to the Chiefs. This happens to the Patriots. This happens to the Packers. This doesn't happen to the Lions. It never has.
I will say this to finish on the first question about Caleb Williams. So I'm gonna go back and study Mahomes' first season.
Yep.
And compare it to Caleb Williams. And I'm not saying that Caleb is Mahomes, not at all. But similar style of play where, again, to shout out the chat, which we did terrible with today. Hold on, where is it? Where was it? Jay-Z says he was escaping the pass rush a lot and getting rid of the ball. Those are great talents to have. But it was some serious schoolyard bull crap, and it connected a few times. That's what I see from Mahomes, from Mahomes and from Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Is that it's that backyard style of football, right? Where you're just kind of running all over the place, hoping someone gets open. That's what a mobile quarterback does for you. But eventually they get tired, right? Their legs get tired. They get gassed. And then what happens is you start to pin back your defense and you get after the quarterback and they can no longer escape because they're tired. And you pick up 4 sacks in the fourth quarter or 3 sacks in the fourth quarter, the last 5 minutes of the game, whatever it was, he couldn't move. Caleb took some big shots yesterday.
Oh, yeah. So did Keenan Allen.
I looked at his eyes, and it looked like he was questioning whether he even wanted to play football and was going to pull an Anthony Richardson and tap out. That's what I saw out of Caleb yesterday.
I wouldn't have blamed him if he did tap out.
He got hit hard.
He was getting pounded. And listen, his knee went the wrong way. He went right into the tent. I thought he was done. I thought he blew an ACL because he went back into one play and he threw a touchdown. And as soon as he threw that touchdown, he started like pulling his left leg up, like limping like a horse that stepped on a tack. That's what it looked like. And I'm telling you, his left leg, he kept like pulling it up. And I'm like, dude, he's done. And then he went in the tent again and they looked at him and he came back out and he's running around and jumping up and down. And at first he was walking back to the tunnel. They were taking him out. They were taking him back to the tunnel. And he's like, he walked a few steps and he stopped and he's like, nope. He turned around and went back. I thought for sure he was going up the tunnel. And I saw 3 of their players leave on the cart yesterday. This game was beyond brutal for both teams.
Yeah, it was.
And there was something really good in the chat here. Okay, this is from Mark Vankina. The NFL really needs to expand team rosters since they like to capitalize on the revenue by flexing games and making teams play on short rest. They advocate player safety, blah, blah, blah. It's all for the money. And you know what? Making a team play two teams, they're making them play 3 games in 12 days. The Lions and the Packers, they're playing 3 games in 12 days. It is totally unfair. If you're going to make a team play a short Thursday game on Thanksgiving, they should have 10 days off before their next game.
Yeah, so that was one of my big takes. It's been one of my big takes for a while now. And I said it a few times yesterday that, and I don't know who said that in the chat, but it's exactly the same thing that I've been saying. Player safety is a real problem, right? And it has been for a long time. And the NFL started to do right by the players, right? They started to eliminate some of these tackles, some of these plays over the middle, and they've really been helping the offense stay alive over the middle of the field. Yeah, we all griped about it, but you know what? It's kind of made the game a little bit more interesting. But to make your players play this many games in such a short amount of time, please tell me what is so wrong with just giving the Lions a consistent bye week before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving. If you play on Thanksgiving, I think that you deserve to have your bye week be week 12 or week 14. And that you set up the schedule in a way that, you know, you have at least 7 days off before each game. And one of those is probably going to be a 10-day after the game or before the game. It's not that hard to do. In matter of fact, it's not even that difficult to set up the schedule so that they maybe have 2 10-game breaks before and after Thanksgiving. You play on a Sunday, you play on the following Thursday, and then you play on the following Thursday or the following, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday or whatever. It doesn't have to be a Sunday or Monday. I mean, look, they've got a game today on Black Friday. What if you did that the next week or, in 2 weeks? It doesn't matter.
Oh,
if the NFL wanted to make it right and cared at all about player safety, and it's not just the Lions, there's other teams that are going through it, you would never allow the players to only have 4 days of rest. Because I think yesterday what we saw was 4 days of rest.
Yep.
And players getting injured.
Imagine this, if you will. Instead of a week 5 bye, you give the Lions the bye the week after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
That would be that would be incredible.
I think that's the play.
Yeah.
And you're right. Or in U of M dads, the players are fatigued. Hell yeah, they're fatigued. That is the most dangerous part of the game. I don't care about anything else. The most dangerous part of this game is when your players are tired. When they are tired, that's when bad things happen because they can't protect themselves. The game is way too fast. And these players are way too big. And the guys that are coming in with fresh legs, I don't care if it's a third stringer and you're a first stringer. If you're tired, they're going to outplay you. Or you're going to put yourself in a bad position. You take a nasty hit, you take a tumble, whatever it is. Being fatigued is the worst part of this game. So it to me has to be fixed. And I hope, I know that the collective bargaining agreement and all that stuff is still a few years away, but we have Jalen Reeves-Maben on our squad. Jalen, why are you not promoting this to remove the fatigue factor and the limited amount of games in between or days between a game? Jalen needs to go out there and make it happen. Not just for us, it's for the Cowboys and it's for whoever else is playing on these games, where they've got no rest. Good point. Way to bring that one up. I love that one. The other one I wanted to bring up was the hit on Caleb Williams by Jack Campbell. So as soon as yesterday was done, I started seeing Lions are dirty. Jack Campbell is dirty.
Yeah. No.
Look,
shoulder to the thigh, and it was inbounds. I don't care.
It was he hit him in the thigh, but his forearm carried into his knee, calf area, and it kind of just buckled his knee.
So
it was still a clean hit. It was still a clean hit.
Maybe he should slide or run out of bounds instead of trying to turn up field.
So this is what I saw from Caleb Williams yesterday. You want to talk about a player that's been sacked a ton?
He's got to lead the league in most sacks.
He's been sacked a ton. Let me get the stuff off here. I don't want to have anything pop up here that's stupid. You want to talk about a player that's been sacked a ton and feeling it? 44 times he's been sacked before this game. When I saw this with his hand, he took a stinger. He took a bad shot.
Yep.
He was feeling it. The Lions really. I don't have the Jack Campbell. I don't have the Jack Campbell video. But it was a wicked. It was a wicked hit, but it was clean.
Yep, 100%.
It was absolutely clean. All right, so that's it for today's Rise and Grind Morning Show. Unless you got anything else you want to bring up, Eric.
Jack Campbell had one hell of a day. That's all I'm going to say. He was awesome. And now we're going to go to the Packer game. We're going to be 12-1. And you know what's going to happen the following week? We're going to play the Buffalo Bills, and they're going to flex that game to Monday night, and they're going to flex the Vikings out of Monday night.
I don't know about that.
Yep, I think it's happening.
The Buffalo Bills game?
Yep.
I don't think that they can flex the Vikings out. I think that their record is too good.
That's what they're talking about, because they play some crappy team like the Giants or something. And they want to have a good game on Monday night. That's the talk of the town, is that the Lions might get flexed.
I don't know about that one, because I think that the Vikings are still in this race. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, to either Sunday night or Monday night. Hey, go Cardinals. Come on, Kyler Murray, get your crap together. Play a good game this week. At least one team help us out.
Yeah, we got Cardinals and Vikings this weekend.
Yep. On Sunday.
I'm trying to pull up something real quick here, but yeah, final grades available.
Oh, they got PFF grades already?
Now, they're still under review. Guys had 3 games to do yesterday, and they're still not done.
Yeah.
They're still not done. Let me just look at one thing before we jump off, because I didn't discuss any of the pressure rates or anything like that. I was hoping that they would be ready. And let's see if they are on this other site.
Caleb was under pressure a lot.
I would say so.
We were getting in the backfield quite a bit. And I hope we can do the same against good old Jordan Love. Because Jordan Love didn't do much of anything yesterday. They ran the ball a bunch again.
Holy cow. Wow. I don't like these stats, but Caleb Williams somehow had 3.41 seconds of time to throw.
Jesus Christ.
That's because of his running around.
Yeah.
Right? But he was sacked 5 times and pressured 22 times yesterday. He dropped back 39 times, only completed 20 for a whopping 51.3% completion percentage.
Yep.
That's why he's a bust.
Yep.
That's why he's a bust. Jared Goff, on the other hand, he was sacked once. He was only pressured 14 times. He had 2.89 seconds of time to throw, which has kind of been his average.
Mm-hmm.
So be interesting to see. Interesting to see what PFF pulls up. But there you go. Now you have that to chew on for the rest of the day. All right, you guys have been great. Hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Enjoy your shopping today. If you even do it anymore on Black Friday. I mean, the sales have been going on for a week and a half, 2 weeks anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. We got more games on. I'm going to go visit with my kids today. Can't wait to see them. And enjoy the rest of the weekend, everybody. We'll get into more marshmallows and sunshine on Monday, probably. Maybe. As soon as we see the report for the health of this team. I just honestly feel my final take of the day is that we're in a little bit of trouble here. You know, we've got too many injuries.
Nope.
And I'll leave you with this. You can only go next man up until there's no next man. And right now we are up against it. I don't even know who's on the practice squad anymore. I don't know if we have any more edge rushers or linebackers on the practice squad anymore.
Goody.
So, a Goody?
Yep.
Hasn't really played a whole lot this year, but he was actually pretty good in the preseason. So hopefully he's staying healthy and he's ready to rock and roll. So anyway, we'll see you guys on Monday. I'll be popping up throughout the weekend, and we'll be covering some more things. I got a few topics that I want to talk about. I'll put it in video format. So that's it. We'll see you guys on Monday. Take care. Go One Pride. Go Detroit Lions. Bye-bye.
Every day, thousands of people are discovering Uperlights, Michigan's newest, funnest rock to go find on the shores of the Great Lakes. Don't go out with just any light. Try the Convoy C8 from Uperlights.com. It's guaranteed for life, and you'll find all the ones everyone else misses. Quality UV lights that are perfect for Uperlights with prices starting as low as $20. Please make sure to visit Uperlights.com for all your UV flashlight needs with the best guarantees on the market. Just what you wanted and not what you didn't. The best quality, the best guarantees, and the best UV flashlights from Uperlights.com.